how a man feels when you move on without saying a word. Hey loves, I am Bonang Matheba, and tonight I'm pulling up a chair right next to you, like we're sharing a glass of wine on my balcony in Joburg while the city lights blink below us. I want to talk about something so many of us have done. We loved hard, we gave everything, we begged to be seen, and then one day we simply stopped speaking and walked away without a single word. No dramatic text thread, no slam door, no public breakup post, just quiet. And because we're sisters, because I've been that woman and I've watched my closest friends be that woman, I know exactly how that silence lands on the other side, inside a man's chest when he finally realizes you're gone for real. I'm going to take you through every stage he goes through, from the first moment he thinks she's just busy, all the way to the night he sits alone and understands he lost the best thing he ever had. And I'm telling you this not to make you feel sorry for him, but to remind you how powerful your quiet strength truly is. We think silence is empty, but darling, when a woman chooses silence after giving her whole heart, it becomes the loudest language on earth. It echoes, it haunts, it teaches. And tonight I'm going to let you hear that echo through his eyes, through his thoughts, through the nights he can't sleep because your absence is screaming in the room. So settle in, beautiful. This is for every queen who decided her peace was worth more than another explanation he was never going to hear anyway. The first few days after you go quiet, he doesn't even flinch. That's the truth. You used to text him good morning with a little heart emoji. Ask if he ate lunch. Send a voice note just because you missed the sound of his laugh. And now the phone stays dark, but he scrolls past the silence like it's nothing. He tells himself you're tired, you're on a deadline, you're with the girls, you're giving him space. Whatever story lets him stay comfortable. He might even smirk a little thinking, okay, she wants me to chase, I'll let her cool off. Because in his mind, this is familiar territory. You've pulled back before, you've needed time. And every single time you came back softer, sweeter, ready to smooth everything over, he's trained on that pattern. He brags to his boys, she'll hit me up by the weekend, watch. He goes to the gym, posts a shirtless mirror selfie, turns up the music in his truck a little louder. Anything to fill the air you used to occupy. He still falls asleep easy because in his world, nothing has actually changed yet. The bed still smells like your perfume on the left pillow. His hoodie is still in your drawer. Your Spotify playlist is still in his recently played. He hasn't felt the shift because the shift hasn't hit him. He's living on the credit of all the love you poured in before you decided to stop depositing. And right now, while he's laughing with his friends about how women always come back, you're already healing in rooms he'll never be invited to again. The first days of your silence are the calm before his storm. And he has no idea the sky is about to fall in on him. Then, the second week creeps in and something starts to feel off. Like the temperature dropped 5 degrees, but nobody told him to grab a jacket. The notifications are still 0. No hey with 3 eyes. No random meme at 11 p.m. No, drive safe when he posts he's on the road. At first, he plays it cool. He's not about to double text and look thirsty. Pride is a hell of a drug, baby, so he waits. He refreshes his phone more than he admits. He opens your chat, sees his last message sitting there delivered but never read, and closes it again. He tells himself he's busy too. Work is crazy, the boys want to link, he's got a life, but little cracks start showing up. He catches himself checking if you viewed his Instagram story. He notices the song you added to the shared playlist hasn't moved in days. He drives past the coffee shop y'all claimed as ours and feels a tiny tug in his chest when he sees your usual table empty. He starts wondering if you're okay. Not because he's ready to apologize, God no, just because the routine is broken and he doesn't know what to do with the extra quiet. He might type a message, you good? And then delete it because he's not ready to lose the upper hand he still thinks he has. Nights get a little longer, he scrolls a little farther. He starts overthinking every conversation from the last month, trying to figure out what set this off, but he can't land on anything big enough to justify this much distance. That's when the first real unease settles in his stomach. He's not scared yet, but he's uncomfortable. And discomfort is the doorway to everything he's about to feel. By the end of week 2, your silence has gone from background noise to a presence in the room. And for the first time, he understands that this might not be a phase. Something in him knows the game has changed, even if his mouth is still saying she'll be back. The silence you chose is starting to speak, and he is finally learning how to listen. By the time the calendar flips into the 3rd and 4th week, the silence has weight. It's no longer just the absence of your voice. It's a presence that sits on his chest when he wakes up and follows him all day like a second shadow. He stopped telling his friends, "You'll text by the weekend." Now, when they ask, he changes the subject real quick or gives a tight laugh and says, "We're figuring some things out." He's lying. He's not figuring anything out. He's drowning in the quiet. He starts doing drive-bys past your place, not even to knock, just to see if your car's in the lot, if your porch light is on the way you always left it for him. He checks your socials at 2 a.m. like a detective, zooming in on every story, every tag location, looking for proof you're hurting too. But you're glowing, you're out with the girls, you're laughing in pictures, you're living, and that guts him more than if you'd posted a tear-stained selfie. Because he realizes this isn't a tantrum, this is you choosing joy without him in it. He starts bargaining in his head. If she just answers one text, I'll say everything I was too proud to say before. He drafts paragraphs he never sends. He calls and hangs up when your voicemail picks up because hearing your voice, even recorded, hurts too much. He's not sleeping anymore. The left side of the bed stays cold and he can't roll over to it without remembering how you used to curl into him like you belonged there. He starts smelling your perfume on his hoodies and it makes him angry, then sad, then desperate. He finally admits to himself, out loud, in an empty apartment, "I think she's really gone," and saying it makes it real. The first slap of your silence has landed square across his face, and baby, it stings in places he didn't know he had. Now the memories come at him like a highlight reel he never asked to watch. He's brushing his teeth and suddenly remembers the night you sat on the bathroom counter crying because he forgot your birthday dinner. He's in the cereal aisle and sees the exact brand you used to steal from his bowl, and it hits him how you always left the last spoonful for him even when you wanted it. Every corner of his life is haunted. He hears a song on the radio, and it's the one you played on repeat the weekend. Y'all drove to the lake and he promised he'd never take you for granted. Lie. He took you for granted every single day. He remembers the soft way you used to say his name when you were proud of him, the way you traced his back when you couldn't sleep, the way you looked at him like he was the answer to a question you'd been asking your whole life. And he remembers every single time you told him you felt invisible and he answered with, "You're overreacting." He replays the fights where you begged him to listen and he walked away. He sees the nights you fell asleep with wet cheeks while he scrolled on his phone pretending everything was fine. All the moments you were screaming in whispers and he was deaf on purpose. Now the volume is turned all the way up and there's nobody there to turn it down. He sits on the edge of his bed with his head in his hands, and for the first time in years, he cries ugly, shoulder-shaking sobs because he finally understands the depth of what he ignored. Your silence isn't punishing him, darling. It's revealing him. And the man looking back in that flood of memories is someone he doesn't recognize and definitely doesn't respect. One random Tuesday, usually the day y'all used to have your longest phone calls, he's staring at the ceiling and it crashes over him like cold water. He was wrong. Not we both made mistakes, wrong. Not relationships are hard, wrong. He was wrong, period. No more mental gymnastics, no more if she had just communicated better. He sees it clear as day. You communicated until your throat was raw and your heart was bruised, and he still chose not to hear you. He sits there in the dark and whispers to the empty room, "I messed up. I really messed up." And saying it out loud breaks something open inside him. The armor falls off. The ego shatters. For the first time since he was a little boy, he lets himself feel the full weight of hurting someone he loved. There's no audience to perform toughness for, no boys to impress, no ex to make jealous, just him and the truth. And the truth is brutal. He lost you because he refused to do the work while he still had you. He understands now that love isn't a feeling, it's a daily choice, and he stopped choosing you a long time ago. He sees how his silence, his dismissals, his "I'm fine" answers pushed you to this edge. Your quiet isn't cold, it's exhausted. It's the sound of a woman who finally put herself first after years of putting him first. And in that moment of raw honesty, he doesn't hate you for leaving. He respects you for it. He respects the strength it took to close the door without slamming it. He respects the love you had that was big enough to walk away when it stopped being returned. For the first time, he's not the hero of his own story anymore. He's the lesson, and the lesson is finally starting to sink in. Your silence doesn't hand him a list of everything he did wrong. It hands him a mirror. And baby, that mirror is merciless. He can't argue with it, can't gaslight it, can't tell it you're too emotional. All he can do is look, and for the first time he sees the man who made you feel small just to feel big himself. He sees the man who answered, "I'm tired," when you were pouring your soul out at 1 a.m. He sees the man who let you apologize for his mistakes because it was easier than owning them. He sees the man who trained you to expect crumbs and then got mad when you finally stopped settling for the table. There's no defense attorney in the room, no friends hyping him up, no version of the story where he's the victim. It's just him and every choice he made while he still had the privilege of your good mornings. Your quiet exit stripped away every excuse he ever hid behind. He realizes the closure he always thought he needed from a big fight was never the point. The closure is happening right now inside his own ribs, and it's brutal because he's the one delivering it to himself. He finally understands that by refusing to give him a scene, you gave him something far more valuable, the unfiltered truth about who he became when he thought love didn't require effort. That mirror you left behind with your absence is the clearest reflection he's ever had, and it's changing the way he breathes. Eventually the day comes when he can't take the quiet anymore. He breaks. He sends the text he swore he'd never send. "Can we talk?" Then another. Then a paragraph at 3:17 a.m. that starts with, "I know I don't deserve," and ends with, "I'm sorry." He calls and lets it ring all the way through this time. He shows up at your favorite brunch spot on Sunday, hoping you'll walk in with the girls. He drives to your building and sits in the parking lot like a fool because the thought of never hearing your laugh again is worse than any embarrassment. He's ready to say everything now, ready to listen, ready to sit in the fire he spent months avoiding. But you're not there to receive any of it. Your friends politely say you're good, your read receipts stay off, your life keeps blooming in all the places he's no longer invited, and that's when the second wave of pain hits, the pain of knowing the window is closed. He finally grew, but he grew too late. The version of him you needed months ago is standing here now, fully awake, fully humble, fully willing, and the space where you used to be is already filled with peace that doesn't include him. He understands that apologies don't reopen doors that were closed for self-respect. He learns the hardest lesson a man can learn. Timing is part of love too, and he ran out of it. Your silence didn't just end the relationship. It protected the healing you had already started, and no amount of his new awareness can pull you backward once you've stepped forward. So now he's left with the aftermath, the quiet apartment, the unsent letters, the screenshots he reads like scripture, trying to figure out where he lost you. And slowly, very slowly, something shifts. The pain stops being only about losing you and starts being about finding himself. He starts going to therapy, something he used to call soft. He journals for the first time since high school. He calls his mom and cries on the phone like he's 10 years old again. He deletes the dating apps he downloaded to prove he was fine. He learns how to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. He starts noticing the women around him, his sister, his co-workers, the barista, with new eyes, seeing the effort they put in that nobody applauds. He makes a promise to himself in the dark one night. The next time love shows up, he'll choose it every single day, not just when it's convenient or when he's scared of being alone. He starts becoming the man you deserved all along. Not to win you back, he knows that ship has sailed, but because losing you was the wake-up call his soul needed. He heals, not perfectly, not linearly, but honestly, and somewhere along the way, he finds a strange kind of gratitude for your silence. Because if you had screamed, if you had fought, if you had given him one more chance to half-ass it, he might never have met the version of himself that's emerging now. Your quiet departure didn't just save you. It ended up saving him too in ways he'll carry for the rest of his life. And here we are, my loves, at the end of his journey and the beginning of yours. Everything I just walked you through, every sleepless night he had, every tear that finally fell, every hard truth he had to swallow, happened because you chose yourself without making it a circus. You didn't drag him on social media. You didn't curse him out in the group chat. You didn't give him the satisfaction of one last explosive fight he could replay to feel like the wounded hero. You simply gathered your heart, closed the door softly, and kept walking until the sound of your own footsteps became music again. And that, beautiful, is the ultimate power move. Your silence wasn't weakness. It was the final act of love you gave yourself after giving him way more than he ever earned. It was the period at the end of a sentence he kept trying to turn into a run-on. It was the moment you decided your peace was non-negotiable and your future was no longer up for debate. I need you to hear this loud and clear. The day you stopped explaining yourself to someone who refused to understand was the day you stepped into queen energy that cannot be dimmed. You didn't need to scream to be heard. Your absence did the screaming for you. You didn't need to burn the house down to prove it was on fire. You just walked out and let him feel the heat on his own. And while he was sitting in the ashes learning lessons he should have learned while you were still holding his hand, you were already blooming somewhere new, laughing a little louder, sleeping a little deeper, loving yourself in ways he never bothered to. That is victory, that is growth, that is the glow up that no amount of money or revenge could ever buy. So if you're listening to this and you're the woman who left in silence, I want you to feel proud tonight. Be proud that you honored your own heart when nobody else would. Be proud that you protected your spirit instead of performing your pain. Be proud that you turned your back on chaos and walked straight into peace. And if you're still in the middle of deciding whether to stay or go, know this. The moment you choose you, the universe lines up to applaud. It might not feel like it at first. The first few weeks of silence will feel heavy on your side too. But keep going. Keep choosing you every single day until one day you wake up and realize the weight is gone and the light is pouring in through windows you forgot you had. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not asking for the impossible. You are a woman who knows her worth. And when someone can't meet you there, walking away quietly is not giving up. It's leveling up. And years from now, when he's telling the story of the one who got away, he won't talk about the fights or the drama. He'll talk about the woman who disappeared like smoke, who left no trail except the echo of what real love is supposed to feel like. He'll remember you as the standard he spends the rest of his life trying to measure up to. And you'll be somewhere living a life so full, so rich, so beautifully yours that his name barely crosses your mind anymore. That's the legacy of a woman who leaves without a word. She doesn't need the last word because her life becomes the whole conversation. So hold your head high, Queen. Your silence shook a man to his core, rebuilt him from the ground up, and set you free in the process. There's nothing more powerful than that. If this spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of your strength, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me the moment you chose yourself, like so your sisters can feel this energy too, and share it with every woman who needs to remember she's allowed to walk away in peace. We rise together, and I'll be right here with the next message when you need it. I love y'all more than you know. See you in the next one.